What is going on, everyone? Thank you so much for coming back today. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day just to click on the video. It means the world to me. If you are liking my videos that I'm putting out and you do like today's content, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button, hit the like button down below. If you're not a subscriber, it would mean the world to me again as well. Just hit the subscribe button, and then out beside that, hit that little bell notification and select all. And then YouTube will send you a nice little notification whenever I upload a video. As you saw from the thumbnail today, I hope and pray this is not a long video, but I do want to get it all out there, the whole process of what I went through, why I did it, everything like that. So, hopefully I can take you along, and that way, you know, maybe this is something you would think about doing in the future, because it is such a, just a selfless, humbling feeling to do this. So let's travel back. I donated bone marrow to a recipient that I didn't know back in 2005. It was June 9th, 2005 when I had this procedure done. So let me tell you about kind of how I got found. And now, again, this is 2005, so this is not 2023 where there's been so many more medical advancements that's happened. Back then, this is kind of how it was. So, I was working at a place, and they were right next to this donor place called Blood Assurance. Now, I had, we'd kind of have the workers coming in there sometimes for lunch and stuff. So, one of the nurses was like, "You should come donate blood," and I was like, yeah. I mean, I'd done it before, but it wasn't something that I was excited getting poked with needles and having my blood drawn. It's not something I was like excited for. So she was like, "Do you know what your blood type is?" And I was like, "Yeah, mine is O negative." And I had known, because my mom had told me that O negative, you can only receive O negative. I can't receive any other blood. But O negative blood can go out to anyone. Anyone can receive O negative blood, is what I was always told. So she was like, "Oh my gosh, then you have to come donate blood. You have to, because you have O negative blood." So I was like, "Okay." So I went down there to donate blood, and as I'm finishing up, right? So the lady was like, "Would you like to donate an extra vial of blood? It's for like bone marrow testing and stuff like that." And I was like, "Oh, I guess." And she's like, "I've never really seen anything come of it, so, but it's just there in case you want to do it." And I was like, "Yeah, go ahead." And I was like, "I'm not gonna miss it, so go ahead and take it." And so, she takes the extra vial of blood. I go back to work. Everything's good. It's about 2 weeks goes by. They call me, and at this point I'm like kind of nervous, and they're going through my patient chart, like, "Are you Brandon Lowry?" I'm like, yes, birthday this, yes. And I was sitting thinking, like, oh God, did like something come back in my blood or something like that? You think the worst things. And so she was like, "Well, shockingly, you have matched someone that is needing a stem cell replacement. Would you be interested in coming in and talking to us?" And I was sitting thinking, wow, then that was like super easy, like it was only like 2 weeks. So as I go in, they ask, I get drilled with questions, like, very, very personal questions that, I was not ready to answer at that time. But she was like, "Just so you know how rare this is," and again, 2005, so remember this. She's like, "For you to donate bone marrow, you have to match someone at least 6 out of 10 characteristics of blood. And you matched this guy 10 out of 10. And I was like, holy crap. And she was like, "Yeah, I've never seen 10 out of 10. And she goes, I've seen 8 out of 10. So I was like, okay. So I was like, "Do I know this person?" She was like, "I can't release that information." So she proceeds to tell me that someone from the Vanderbilt Hospital will be getting in contact with me. I live in Cookeville, Tennessee. Vanderbilt Hospital is one of the nation's leading hospitals. It's about an hour and a half away. But told me that someone would get in contact with me. That's where the transplant would take place on my side. So they released some information to me. And so I received a letter from the patient. I received a letter before his surgery and then after. I'm going to read part of the letters. There's a lot of the letters that I want to keep kind of private between me and him. It was kind of it was an emotional letter. So I don't want to kind of reveal some of that and very personal. So I want to keep that kind of between me and him. But no, so it's like I had to go through all these questions and stuff like that. Then they get down to the final question, and they ask me, there's two different ways that we can go about doing this. We can either A, give you these shots. Again, I don't know the scientific name of them. I can't tell you what exactly it was. But basically what it was, you would take these shots for 5 days. You spread across your body. So I would take one on this arm, one on this arm. Next day, one in the left leg, one in the right leg. And just go back and forth that way. So on day 5, when it's time for the procedure, basically what they do is they go in there and they take my stem cells out of my body. And what that does is it mass produces my white blood cells. So that way when they take them, it won't affect me at all. So that was step 1, or procedure 1. Procedure 2 would be they would basically drill into the bone of my hip and remove the bone marrow that way. But I would also be in the hospital for 2 days after that. And they actually said sometimes it's really hard to walk. You won't be able to walk for even maybe you'd be really sore for like a week afterwards. So I was like, that's not something I want to do. So I chose for option 1 to go get the shots. So every day after work, I would travel to Vanderbilt, get the shots, come back home. And this is the crazy part too, is because going to Vanderbilt, even if I want to search up records of my name, I am not in Vanderbilt's system as Brandon. The name they gave me, they always give you the last name Marrow. So that way when you go to the front desk, whatever, when you say Marrow, they know you're there for a certain reason. So for whatever reason, they gave me the name Denver Marrow. So I was like, so is the guy from Denver? I was trying to figure all this stuff out. They won't release anything to you, which I understand because basically, which is sick to think about. But they said the reason why is because someone could get a contact with this guy and say, hey, I have your match. If you don't send me X amount of money, you're not getting my stem cells. And so that's the reason why it's so private, so kept secret. But I'll throw a picture as well. But I want to show you like the certificate I got. So here's where it says Denver Marrow on June 9th, 2005. There's some pictures of me, which I'll throw up a little bit better on the screen so that you guys can see them. But during the shots through the week, the first day wasn't so bad. Day 2, still not terrible. But day 3, 4, and 5 was just absolutely miserable. I can't explain it. My only thing, and this could be totally wrong, but my understanding is, the way I thought about it, not my understanding, but the way I thought about it is that my body is producing white blood cells. Now, your body produces white blood cells when you're fighting off, an infection or something like that, or a sickness. So my body was thinking I was sick, but I really wasn't sick. So I had all the symptoms of feeling sick, but I wasn't sick. It was really, really weird. I would run fevers. I would be upset stomachs, just headaches all the time. It was terrible. But I knew the outcome is much bigger than what I am. This temporary painness and sickness I'm going through is nothing compared to what, the guy on the other end that's going to be receiving these is. So that was comforting for me to push through that. It's basically stop being a little kid, Well, the way the procedure works is you go in there, they stick you in one side of your body. And actually, I still have the needle marks from this procedure. It is not your typical needle. It is a very big needle. They stick it in one arm, and then they stick it in your other arm. What it does is it draws all your blood out. It takes it into a machine, and it will spin your blood around to separate the stem cells. And so your stem cells will go off into another bag, and then it'll feed the blood back into your body. Now, here's where it sucks, is once that blood is spinning, it cools down. So as it's coming back into your body, it is by far the weirdest feeling, is I actually felt the blood start distributing through my veins because it was cold. And I immediately, this is a 4-hour process because it has the blood in your body goes through the whole machine 4 times. So, lo and behold, I was like hypothermic, where they had like multiple heating blankets on top of me, just because my body temperature was dropping so much just from the blood coming back in. Again, I'm not going to spend too much time complaining on that because of the procedure that the other guy had to go through. So the procedure is done. And the day of the surgery, for me, on my part, it wasn't really a surgery, but the procedure that I had done, I received this letter from him. Now, it is typed out, so that way, and I don't know where the stain came from, but there's a stain on there. But it's typed out, so that way you can't, like, I guess, analyze handwriting or anything like that. So, I want to read a little bit of it, so that way you can see kind of how I received this. Dear bone marrow donor, how can we ever thank you enough for your willingness to help us in such an unselfish way? We knew you were an admirable person when they told us you were only 20 years old. Yeah, I was only 20. It's crazy to think about because now I'm 39, like 19 years ago. Not many people your age would give this process a second thought. You truly are our angel. Basically, what he talks about in this letter is that this was June whenever I did this. He actually was only given to the end of August to live. I guess he was getting really progressively worse. He actually had this disease for 10 years. Because he talks about his son is 14 now. His son was only 4 years old whenever he found out that he had cancer. So, basically the cancer he has is myelodysplastic syndrome. Hopefully I pronounced that right. I'm going to have it on the screen so that way you guys can see. Shockingly, I'm not a doctor. So, but is a rare blood disorder that is secondary to all the chemo. So basically all the chemo he was receiving for he had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. All the chemo he was receiving for that was not even touching his other disease. So, man, that's just scary. But he talks about, he says, I'm 55 years old, I have 2 children. He has a daughter that is 20, and his son is 14. But recently his daughter had just given birth to their first grandchild, a boy. And he talks about how he is not going to be around to raise the grandchild, which is super sad. His son is in 9th grade. His wife is a teacher. She teaches 1st grade. So, this is the first letter I received. So, and up until this point of you going in to do the procedure, you can still back out. Up until the point they stick the needle in your arm, you can still back out. Which, you receive this letter, which I'm sure this is the reason why, but you receive this letter. I couldn't imagine me backing out after receiving this letter, knowing the process, knowing the struggles this guy had went through, and me back out on my behalf. That's insane. So, the procedure goes well. The 4 hours I spend in there doing all that stuff, I go home. It's I think maybe like 3 weeks go by, and I receive a second letter from him. Now, this is where it gets a little bit more personal. So I'm going to kind of paraphrase a lot of this. Like I said, there is a lot of stuff that I don't want to touch on. So he starts off the letter. Dear precious stem cell donor, we're writing you to let you know the stem cell transplant took place at 1:50 a.m. on June the 10th. From this day forward, I will now celebrate 2 birthdays. February 8th, the day my mother gave birth, and June 10th, the day you gave me my 2nd birthday. We truly thank our blessings for you. The second paragraph goes on to talk about how much anxiety he had, which I could only imagine. Because up to that point, too, he knows that I could have backed out. He knows that what if this procedure doesn't go right? Just thinking about that gives me so much anxiety. And, I really feel for him that when he went through this. He said, the best feeling in the world. He says, I can't describe the feelings we had when the man came in with a bag of stem cells. The excitement, the anticipation, the extreme gratitude, and hope was all mixed up. So he goes on to say, I was excited to tell you that 22 days he was in the hospital, I was discharged. I didn't get to come home because we live 4 hours away from the hospital. I'm in a hotel right now next to the hospital. We have to go to the clinic at least twice daily and more often if there's problems. The clinic is on the 7th floor, so it's not very convenient. But he goes on to talk about that he is now able to, spend more time with his grandson, with his kids, with his wife. And, at the very end, he thanks me from the bottom of his heart of just giving him the gift of time. And that's such a humbling, trying to stay, not get emotional, but just the simple fact that, and I'm not making this video to brag on me, this is not on me at all, but it is just very rewarding to know that you gave someone the ability to have more time, which is something that we're all never have enough of. So I get a call from the blood assurance asking me that it had been 2 years. Sorry, it had been 2 years since we'd done the procedure, and that he asking if I would be able to do the procedure again. That the cancer had came back, and so I immediately agreed. Let's do it. And we had set up the first appointment for me is to go get the shots, and unfortunately he ended up passing away before that I could donate again to him. So that just crushed everything to hear that. I was very sad to hear that. But in this video, this is where I want to get out. But I still never received his information. I don't know who his family is. I don't know if they know me. I don't know if it was a lack on blood assurance part to not release my information or just not pass it up to anyone who could get it to him. But what I want from you guys is if anyone knows anybody that went through a situation like this, the key details of this gentleman is I just want to know who he was. I'm not looking for anything. I'm not looking for any recognition or any type of reward. I just want to know who he was. I want to talk to his family. I just want to know who this gentleman was, and had such an impact on my life that I think about it. I think about it a lot. That it bothers me sometimes to think about that. I never knew who he was. So time had went by, and I think I checked back with blood assurance over the years, and still never heard anything. So I had got on their website to their help, and I had sent in an email describing my situation, what I was doing, and I know it was weird. I don't even know if they keep records that long, but just asking would anyone be able to help me in order to track this gentleman down. And that was 4 months ago. Still haven't received anything back from them. So I'm asking for help from you guys, because I know the power of social media. I know how this reaches people, and you may know someone. So truly, if you know someone 55 years of age in 2005. So this is 2005, 55 years of age, 2 kids. Daughter was 20. She just had her first baby. Son was 14 in 9th grade. And his wife was a 1st grade teacher. So if you know anyone like that was diagnosed with cancer, I guess he would have passed away in 2007. Please share this video with them. I would love for them to reach out to me. My email will be down below in the comments if you want to send me an email that you may know someone like that for me to reach out to. I would greatly appreciate it, guys. But that's all I have for you guys today. I would love to talk about this more maybe in a later video, if you guys have any questions for me like that. But guys, I definitely appreciate it. I love each and every one of you. Mom, I love you, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks, guys.